I'm Brian Hendricks, and we've got our pickled bobcat here. I'm going to skin the left hind foot now. This has been in the pickle for days now. Got my little rope up here, the slip knot in it that I can put those toes in there. That's why we left skin, cut them off. We skinned past the joint where we ended up cutting them off at, so we'd have a handle there, something to get a hold of for skinning purposes. So this is a great way to do it on bears, on anything. It just really makes things easier when you have something there to pull against. That's how I started doing it, was with bears. And then I found that it works great for smaller stuff too. So anyway, skin these down. There's that bit of webbing too that goes from toe to toe. So as I'm skinning these, I'm also cutting that little bit of webbing that's between the toes there. We got to get these down past the toe pad, which is right there. Sometimes it works to just peel that down with your thumbnail too, till you get it down over the curve. Pickling makes it so handy for this, for all your turning, because it allows you at any moment, you get a phone call, anything happens, you have to take off. You can throw it back in the pickle, and you're good till the next day or whenever you get back to it again. So especially once it's pickled, you can leave them in there for a long time you don't have to really turn them every day or anything. Once they're completely pickled and your pH is where it's supposed to be, between 1 and 2, you can put more than one skin. Like I've got 5-gallon buckets that I can have just in about 3 gallons of mixture in a 5-gallon bucket. I can have 2 or 3 fox in there, or a couple bobcats. And as long as they've already been pickled before I put them in there, they keep great in there. It can relieve some freezer space if that's an issue. Another way to keep them for a while. When I was on my out collecting last winter, I had 3 different pickle buckets going. And I would each day I would drop them into the next bucket. So I just kept a turnover that way. And had several skins going in each bucket. And I did with those 3 buckets, and just rotating like that and keeping the pH where it needed to be, I pickled over 100 skins of various sizes, from squirrels on up to, I think the biggest thing I put in was probably a life-size bobcat, a few coyote capes, but I think the biggest life size was 27, 28 pound bobcat probably. But yeah, 100 skins out of one little quart of pickling acid. So it's very economical, because all you have is a little bit of acid and a few pounds of salt. So everything is relatively cheap. So just one more of the big advantages of pickling. Always a stubborn one. That little bit of tendon there. Okay, that was the 4th toe on that hind foot. There's no dew claw there, so now we'll come over to the post. And again, it's a good reason why I cut through those pads, is it opens things right up when I'm skinning those toes and stuff. It's just so much easier. And with the pads themselves now, it's going to be easy to clean these out. That pad is rounded this way, so on this side you've got to cut almost into a dish there to get all that pad tissue out of there. Once in a while I'll put a little cut in those, but pretty common for me too, actually. But on the bottom of the foot, it almost never shows, and besides that, it's a real easy place to just texture it, or put some epoxy. Fill the hole with epoxy, and a neat thing to texture it with is just a piece of sandpaper. Well, the epoxy, before the epoxy sets. Just press a piece of like 80 grit sandpaper onto it, and it'll put a nice little pad texture on it for you. You can see I'm just kind of scooping that tissue out of there. That's just a lot of nasty stuff that you don't want to leave on that skin, because it's not skin, so it won't tan and turn into leather. It'll just stay a greasy mess forever. So there's our completely skinned and turned foot, back foot. This stuff here will all come off with the wire wheel. So there's another finished foot.